everyone. It's Dr. Hillary from Cultivate Fertility, and I'm in California where it's like 90 degrees, so I'm a little sweaty. And Dr. Kara is in Connecticut right now at her house, and it's 8 p.m. there, so she's like working hard late, which is not so typical for Dr. Kara Burkhart. She's kind of a wake up early, go to bed early kind of girl. So
yeah, I had patients really early this morning, so I'm going to try and keep my brain going, but it's going to be good. And this is one of our favorite topics. So ovulation is what everyone wants to know about. It's on your mind if you're trying to get pregnant. So this is the thing that people are so excited about and also so confused about. And I get it because the basics of it are really confusing.
So do you kind of want to, how should we start? So we want to talk about kind of what's important to us, at what we are really trying to get our clients at Cultivate Fertility to think about, and what are the things that they can do daily that has a positive impact on their one, egg quality, and two, their hormone balance and their hormone symphony. We talk about kind of the symphony of all the hormones so that we can have a really impactful, great ovulation. And therefore,
so let's start with the food. Let's do a recipe, and then we'll throw in some of the how it works and what's really interesting about ovulation.
Okay,
so right now we want to be eating fertility superfoods with lots of antioxidants for egg quality, because we know we can affect the quality of eggs, which is amazing because they're there from when you're in your mom's belly. You know, when you're in her womb, your eggs are there. And so, you know, when you come 20 or 30 years later and you want to have a baby, you want to make sure that you have really good antioxidants in your blood from your diet, right? So that quality of the egg can potentially, you can improve it.
So this is a recipe that we're preparing from our diet course, our Cultivate Fertility diet course, where we kind of really thought, Kara and I worked and really pulled together what we believe are fertility superfoods, and there are more. But on that list is the greens and the Brachiaceae, I always say weird, Brachiaceae family. Did I say it right?
I say Brassica.
Brassica family.
Brassicaceae, I made it up probably, I don't know.
I said, okay, the Brassica family. But that's the really like the cruciferous vegetables. And in that is kale, collard greens,
I'm going to use spinach,
broccoli. There's a lot of the Brassica family is known to help, one, detoxify hormones and to kind of help the liver process hormones. So they're great hormone balancers in that way. Two, they have a ridiculous amount of fiber. And fiber is one of the things we really want our patients to have, high fiber diets, because that helps with hormone balance and hormone regulation. And three, they're wildly nutrient dense. So some of the most nutrient dense foods that you can eat tend to be very high in vitamin C, and high in vitamin C is one of the most potent antioxidants that we can eat. So we really push a lot of recipes from the cruciferous family, and I'm going to show you tonight. And all the recipes that we're teaching you today, or we're showing you just about foods, are on our blog on the website. So cultivatefertility.com. It's just one word. I'm going to put it in here.
And it's a really big concept for fertility in general, that you want to eat these green vegetables and fruits. And that Brassica family is one group of them, and they're especially powerful as far as antioxidants go. But I also grabbed
this.
That right there. Yes. So that's a protein powder that has
mine.
In it.
Sorry. Okay, good. Yours is the protein powder with greens. You should show that. This is the antioxidant powder that we also love and have. So we're teaching you really about foods and what you can do in your kitchen. And obviously you can get a lot more information in our diet course. This is just sort of an introduction, and we'll walk you through a couple of the things that we also think that are worthy of supplementation if you're wanting to really boost your egg health and ovulation health. But let's get going with the cabbage. So this is super basic. There's a couple things that we think about. So Dr. Kara and I are both naturopathic doctors and acupuncturists. So one of the things that we bring to Cultivate Fertility is this knowledge of Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And what Chinese medicine and acupuncture does in fertility, one of the things, is it really promotes circulation, blood circulation. So what we want for our Cultivate Fertility clients is to, one, increase the nutrient density in the foods that they're eating, and two, have them eating foods and consuming things that circulate the blood and get those nutrients, those potent micronutrients, into their reproductive organs where they're being used. So this recipe highlights chili flakes. So want to talk about that a little bit while I just chop and get ready?
Definitely. So acupuncture works in a number of ways to help fertility. And I think that Hillary and I got this concept of boosting circulation as one of the core principles as far as working with patients naturally to boost their fertility from acupuncture, because it looks like, and there's a number of research studies that it's pretty well established, that what happens is acupuncture does this thing to the nervous system where it allows more blood flow to the uterus and ovaries. And so with ovulation, your ovaries are only the size of an almond each. So they're these tiny little things, just little almonds, and they hold all your eggs, and your eggs have been there your whole life. And so over time, and this is potentially how older women have a hard time getting pregnant, women over 40 typically have a harder time. Maybe it's because these eggs have had oxidative stress and had damage to them over time, which is just a normal process in the body. And the body has these antioxidant systems that are actually to repair your cells. And so what these kinds of foods like cabbage and other green vegetables have are really good chemicals to help your body repair its cells. And if we're trying to create a really great egg, only one egg comes out typically every month. So if you have this, pool of eggs and you want one fantastic egg to come out, you want to have a lot of antioxidants in your diet to promote the healing of the tissues. So that's one of the things that all of our recipes really have, is this sort of antioxidant therapy via fertility superfoods.
Can I interrupt and show you kind of my recipe?
Yes.
I'm going to do this a little differently because Alice Waters because I like to make things as easy as possible. And we're trying to use cabbage. And so a lot of people aren't used to eating cabbage. Oh my God, I just made such a mess. And then this is a sweet and sour. So we did a recipe, although we're trying to get you to be mostly sugar-free on our Cultivate Fertility diet. This does have some sugar in it because sometimes it just tastes delicious to have kind of a warming taste and something that has a lot of the different flavors. So in this recipe, this uses vinegar. I decided to use rice vinegar. You could use apple cider vinegar or another vinegar. One of the reasons we combine an acid, which is vinegar, with our vegetables is because the acid helps draw out the micronutrients. And the sweet helps to kind of caramelize and make things really palatable so that you can eat volumes of it. So what do we say in our diet course? We say that we want our patients or clients to be eating at least 2 to 4 cups of organic or vegetables a day, organic preferably, and we've got lists and a whole bunch of handouts.
Green vegetables,
and a whole bunch of recipes, so many recipes in that diet course. So, and we talk about adding acid, lemon to a lot of the salads, and this is using a vinegar. So it says 3 tablespoons. I'm kind of an expert vegetable eater. I'm just going to go with 2 tablespoons, but you can really play with it. And then the directions on the blog are kind of more complicated for cooking the cabbage, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. So I use like a little bit of oil, and I want mine to taste Asian, a little bit Asian. So I'm going to use a couple drops of sesame oil. This is not in the recipe, but so when you hang out with me and Kara in our courses or on our, you just see that we play a lot in the kitchen, and this is what we want you to do. Okay, and then this is adding these crushed chilies, because the chili is acting as the what we call a vasodilator. This is the circulatory stimulant. This is going to help bring the medicine from the cabbage into your reproductive system, right?
And I love the way Hillary cooks, because it makes it fun and it makes it look really easy. You're not measuring to a T every little thing. And it's something that Hillary said once was, fertility is a creative business, right? It's a creative process, getting pregnant. And so this also is a creative process. People love to cook once they've followed a recipe, maybe once or twice, and then all of a sudden you can play with it. So I think that's really a good thing to try and do, is playing with these green vegetables, and all of a sudden you start to like them. And that's why we included this really delicious recipe that had a little bit of sugar in it. We kind of debated it back and forth, because if you make it and you and your partner are eating it, or you and your family are eating it, maybe you're on kid 2 or 3, and they say, wow, this cabbage is delicious, then all of a sudden cabbage is a food everybody eats in your family. And not all families love cabbage. And so then maybe the next time you add some other herbs and decrease the sugar amount. Or on the blog, it actually says you can use some honey or some maple syrup instead of the sugar. I think that we want people to avoid sugar for their egg quality, as in candy and cookies and the excess sugar, pouring sugar in your tea, that kind of excess sugar is where we want you to get rid of it. But if you have to add a pinch of sugar into a green recipe to get you to, eat it and enjoy it, then that's an exception. And we're really reasonable people that way, I think.
We're reasonable people.
It's reasonable.
We want you to have a lot of fun and help your fertility. The truth is a woman who's enjoying herself and having fun and loving, kind of making some lifestyle changes that's empowering, that makes you know that your body's getting healthier, not just for your fertility, but for your overall health. That woman is more likely to get pregnant. A happy, relaxed woman. And something about cooking, we are really trying to get you to love cooking and feeding your family. Okay, so here we go. We've got a lot of vinegar, a little bit of maple syrup. I use maple syrup, and then salt. So this is my sweet and salty mix. I am caramelizing, or I'm browning the cabbage in a cast iron pan. I like using cast iron. I used sesame oil. So what I do is I leave the cabbage on for a little bit until it browns. I can really kind of get it. I like mine crispy and caramelized. And then I'm going to flip it, and then I'm going to add the sauce. So it's a little different than the recipe says, but you can play with it. So I'll kind of show you the end result. But what we're trying to cover, we want to cover a few important categories that are really important for egg health and ovulation. So antioxidants and green vegetables, cruciferous vegetables that we're highlighting as a superfood.
The main point with those is egg quality.
Using acid, lemon, some different things to help pull out the micronutrients so that you get more folate from your food, more zinc from your food, more magnesium from your food, all things that are important for egg health and for the hormonal cascade that creates ovulation. Okay, so as this is cooking, and then that's what I wanted to just say. We do have some clients, and for sure our patients that are busy, they have a hard time cooking. They can cook some meals, but not all meals. But we still really want to work on their antioxidant status to help them with their egg quality. So that's, we do use sometimes products as well to supplement the antioxidants. This is something that we love called Drink Your Antioxidants. And it's got a ton of organic greens and vegetables, organic fruits and vegetables, phytonutrients, probiotics, digestive aids. So there are sometimes ways where if you're just not, you can't make 3 different meals that are loaded with nutrients, you can help yourself out using some supplements to help your egg health. Okay, can we transition quickly over to talking about fats and essential fatty acids and why essential fatty acids are so crucial? Because our next recipe, a delicious smoothie that we love, and that's in this is our detox booklet from another one of our courses that we created, which is our pre-pregnancy detox, which totally teaches you how to eat. One of the smoothies that we love is this avocado raspberry smoothie with hemp seeds. So can you talk a little bit about hemp hearts while I attend to my cabbage?
Absolutely.
Essential fats.
Right. So the hemp hearts, just on what Dr. Hillary was just saying, also have really nice mineral content as far as zinc and magnesium. But we're using them in this smoothie recipe, and I'm going to pull them out and just kind of show you in this tablespoon manner. So they come in bags. We keep them in the refrigerator. They're really handy and easy to buy, and so they look sort of like this. This is a tablespoon, and I actually am measuring out the tablespoon because about 2 tablespoons of these nice seeds, so this is a vegan protein source. So 2 tablespoons will give you, here's the second one, will give you about 10 grams of protein. So beyond the fat content, they're excellent as far as mineral content and protein. The fats in there are omega-3 fats, and these we find, which we look at labs all the time, really most Americans are deficient in omega-3 fatty acids. And so this is something that male patients for infertility and female patients for infertility are typically put on. So very commonly we talk to them about diet with antioxidants and omega-3 fats. And they're kind of hard to find in our foods. So we use hemp a lot in our Cultivate Fertility diet. And putting it in a smoothie is a great way. We also put it over salads and over other foods so that we can just get more of those fats. But as far as ovulation goes, we need these fats because our hormones, estrogen is really important, progesterone very important, but estrogen is especially important to get that LH surge. That's what the sticks that people use for ovulation tests actually look for, this LH surge, typically in the middle of the cycle, and that tells someone you're about to ovulate. And in order to get all those hormones, estrogen in particular, that trigger that LH surge, you need good quality fat in your body. So everybody knows, athletes sometimes miss their periods because they're just burning so many calories, or people that don't eat properly. And so that's anovulation, we call that, when you don't ovulate and you don't have a period. And it's just a state of malnourishment, especially fats. So increasing fats in diet for our patients has been something that we've seen helps in so many ways. People write us notes and they say, out of all the dietary changes, this fat eating thing that I was just not quite educated about because I grew up in a culture where we're not supposed to eat fat or whatever it is, all those headlines about how fat is bad. And then all of a sudden, Hillary and I tell people to eat way more fat, but high quality, good fats like hemp heart, omega-3 fats. And then they feel so much better. They have more energy, their concentration's better, and their cycles regulate. So there's a really famous thing from naturopathic medicine called seed cycling. And so a lot of our recipes use the seeds. Actually, Chinese medicine also talks about seeds. Use these seeds like the hemp hearts to try and get your hormone systems working really well. And as far as ovulation goes, it's interesting because people always say, how do I know when I am going to ovulate? And sometimes those test kits that you sort of go in the bathroom and pee on the test kit every day and you see, oh, it says I'm going to ovulate. Sometimes they don't work for people. So sometimes people process hormones differently, or their threshold is sort of different for that LH surge. And they might have the LH surge after they ovulate. So it's kind of confusing to depend on those tests so much. And so what you really want to do is count from when you get your period. So say you have a 31-day cycle, you want to count back 14 days, and that's about when you ovulate. If you have a 28-day cycle, you count backwards 14 days, and that's when you ovulate. And so some people come in and they say, oh, I have a 24-day cycle or I have a 26-day cycle. When do I ovulate? Always count from the first day of your menstrual period. That's the day to count backwards 14 days. And that's
often some of our patients or clients who have irregular cycles where they can't, sometimes it's 24, sometimes it's 26, sometimes it's 32, that increasing the essential fats in their diet and the micronutrients, so really being on this fertility diet, helps to time and regulate the cycle. So it's easier to understand when ovulation is going to come. I know on my infertility journey, I had very long and challenging cycles. So I didn't know when I was going to ovulate. And I increased a lot of these fats. I used a lot of these seeds. I used some of the products that Kara and I have for our company and for Cultivate Fertility. And like, then I started to get onto a 28-day cycle, and it was a lot easier to predict when I was going to ovulate. So these diet changes really help to regulate your hormones, which is part of what we want to do. And
so in this smoothie, we have more fats to do.
Yeah, go for it. Make this smoothie. It's delicious.
So this smoothie is really quite high in good quality fats. And after that big talk on quality fats. So another one is nut butter. So this is almond butter. And we like almond butter because of the nutrient profile as opposed to a peanut butter, actually. Almond butter has some better minerals, so you'll get more calcium, etc. So I'm going to do a big scoop of some almond butter right in the smoothie. So that's a kind of whopping tablespoon. I like it heavy in that. So the other thing we're going to put in the smoothie, so we have the hemp hearts and the almond butter, and we're going to use an avocado in here. So everyone slices an avocado differently. So bear with me if this is just not the way it's supposed to be done, but this is the way I've always done it. So beautiful avocado. Looks a little bit like a uterus, right? This is it.
I know, it's a really beautiful pregnant belly avocado. We can't stop using avocados in our diets because they help everything, hormones, mood. They make you feel relaxed. Avocados are so amazing.
And then as far as a berry goes, because we're still trying to work on this circulation piece, so a lot of the recipes are doing so many different things, but the berries will help you. These are raspberries. The berries will potentially help with your microvascular support as far as getting more blood flow to these organs, because the antioxidants in this dark color actually help with vessel integrity. So we really like a lot of these bright colors in addition to green foods. We like all the bright colors too. And then we have spinach. Sorry about the sound. Okay. Spinach is great to have around for smoothies. And I don't have this one frozen, but sometimes, and I just put a big old spoonful. Sometimes I have spinach and I throw it in the freezer, or I buy it frozen, and then I always have something green to put in the smoothie, so I really like that. To add a little bit of sweetness, I'm going to put a half a banana. Sometimes people don't like the half a banana, and like Hillary was talking about her experience with PCOS, sometimes people with PCOS were really working on blood sugar regulation. We're going to say no banana. So I'm going to put that in the smoothie. So
can I interrupt you for 2 seconds?
Go ahead. I'm going to grab the protein.
I don't know if you can see. Okay, I'm going to try. So I added all the red chili pepper, and I just put in the sauce, which was a little bit of maple syrup, the salt, and the vinegar. It smells amazing, and that's it. Like, that's the cabbage dish done for the night. It was super easy, and my kids love when I make Asian style cabbage. So hopefully you will love it too, and you can cook it for your partner if you have one, or your family if you have one, or anybody, or yourself, and it will last for days. It will be good cold, it's good hot. It's our hot and spicy cabbage, and obviously you moderate it based on, you don't have to sweat with the red pepper flakes, but we really want to get you circulated. Okay, did you bust out your smoothie yet?
Yeah, I'm having now, here's the protein powder. So this has greens, and it's a little bit of a green color because it's a vegan protein source that's suitable for people with dairy allergies and wheat allergies and all kinds of things. So I'm going to put a big old scoop of that in here, maybe just a little more. There is a scooper in here, but I'm using my thing.
So we love having our clients use protein powders and smoothies in the morning as a way to kind of get a ton of nutrient density. We have our 2 favorite smoothie recipes are on the blog. We have more in our detox course, but starting the day with a protein source, with a ton of good fats, with a ton of micronutrients, it starts off the day really clean. And I love adding in the other smoothie that's on our blog. It's our antioxidant smoothie with cacao nibs, love, mint, love. So you can just really play, but it has a base of fat. We use our protein powder that's got greens in the protein powder. Then we also add always a green. So whether it's a cucumber, spinach, romaine lettuce, always a kale, a green, and then some sort of power superfood. In this case, it's hemp hearts and almond butter. In other cases, we're using chia seeds, but so that you're getting just, and you're starting out the day with so much nutrient density and all that, those delicious dark berries, which are another fertility superfood because of the circulation support and the micronutrients. That looks delicious.
It is very green, and it does have the berries in it, but it comes out a little bit green. You can add more berries if you want, but it's so delicious.
Yay.
It's so delicious. So it's just such a good balance. So the avocado, the protein powder, the hemp hearts, the almond butter, raspberries, and some spinach. A little bit of banana too.
So I would love to talk to you guys a little bit about, we use a lot of different spices in our cooking. Like you'll see on the blog, one of our favorite things is using ginger and cinnamon in a tea. We talk about it a lot. It's in our detox. It's one of our favorite things. But this is a recipe that I love because it uses cumin and a good amount of cumin. And this is a take on hummus that doesn't use beans, but it uses zucchini as sort of the base. So it uses tahini, and we love tahini because it's loaded with calcium and iron, and good fats. It comes from sesame seeds. Mm-hmm. So it's just a good one to kind of put into the mix to have a lot of different fats, different types coming from different sources. And then the cumin is a really interesting spice. So there's a few things it does. One, it helps digestion, and it helps foods actually increases the absorption of foods, which is really important. And in this recipe also is featured lemon, our most favorite love of a detox superfood. So we've got our Cultivate Fertility superfoods, and then we've even got our detox superfoods.
Why are your lemons always so lovely? Are those ones?
These literally came from a tree from a patient. I mean, look at it. It's insane.
The color is so pretty inside there.
And then at my practice, where I practice, we have a garden that's incredible. These are lemons from the garden, from the tree at my practice. Love it. Anyway, so what we want to do is, again, show you recipes that have a ton of nutrients that taste delicious. So this is are sugar, alcohols, or stevia okay for fertility? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to get there. So this recipe is featured in our detox booklet and part of our detox program. This is just the big Greek salad with zucchini hummus. And I'm not going to make the whole salad, but it's got a lot of vegetables. But I love using the hummus. One, because it's got garlic, which is also an incredible circulatory stimulant. Lemon, a digestive aid. Kara can talk about it more. Cumin. So I was just saying it helps absorption. It also helps to regulate blood sugar like cinnamon. So we use cinnamon in a lot of our recipes. The cumin helps regulate blood sugar. So if anybody has PCOS, like what I had or potentially still have a little left over of, then I'm really trying to eat foods that regulate my blood sugar. And zucchini instead of beans. So for people who get a little gassy or beans are hard for them, this is a great option.
And the zucchini is a green vegetable and has that amazing fiber content. And also, you know, I just read a research study on zucchini, and people who ate more zucchini actually had less diabetes. There must be something with the fiber and the blood sugar regulation. So zucchini is actually really good for us. We probably don't eat enough of it.
So
Another one of those foods you have to spice up a little bit.
can you bring it back to ovulation? Why
Sure.
tahini for ovulation? Why
So
zucchini for ovulation?
Right. Tahini has that, it's the same talk as the hemp hearts. And so it's from the seed tradition and seed cycling for regulating menstrual cycles. And it also, the tahini, it is just sesame seeds ground up. So that's all tahini is. And it is really good for you because it has a really high fat content. And so I think people usually just have it in hummus or maybe a lemon tahini dressing, but tahini is a food that we put sometimes in smoothies. We put it all over our Cultivate Fertility diet. And I think that again, it's just because we were all sort of taught growing up not to eat so much fat. And so if you looked at the label of the tahini, it looks like it has a lot of fat, and so people don't use enough of it. But really, it's very good for you and really good for producing hormones. And you're not going to get a good ovulation where the egg bursts out of the ovary unless you have good fats to make that hormone thing happen, because you need the trigger.
Sorry, I totally interrupted. I just got lemon seeds in my, can you explain, talk about the lemon juice versus lemon seeds?
Right. So we use lemon so much that it actually is something that we always try and tell people, that lemon seeds are not at all supportive of fertility. There's anti-fertility research on the seeds. So sometimes people, like in their Vitamix, sometimes I have patients tell me, like, I just throw the whole lemon in there and blend it up. No, and they're making like sorbet or something like that. But that's not a good idea. It's just the juice. So you really don't want to consume those seeds as far as fertility goes. I think that is a really good point, because in general, we love lemon in so many ways, but not the seeds.
So I'm trying to make this super easy on myself, and I didn't want to bring out the Cuisinart, so I'm doing it in my blender. This is my blender that I love. It's the NutriBullet. I've got a Vitamix that I've had for years, but I love this NutriBullet. So I've got a thing of, again, you can get the full recipe. It's called the Big Greek Salad, because this is the hummus that goes on the salad. It's delicious. But so I used a big chunk of zucchini, 3/4 of a cup of tahini. I used a couple garlic cloves, some salt, and then it actually calls for 2 tablespoons of cumin. So it's a lot of cumin, and that's what gives it its amazing flavor. So I'm just gonna eyeball it because that's how I roll. And then I'm gonna just check the booklet really fast for the recipe.
Okay, I'm gonna answer this question about, somebody was asking, are sugar alcohols okay for fertility? And my answer to that is usually a no, because those sugar alcohols interrupt people's digestive tracts too much. And we're not talking about it now, but we have a lot to say about probiotic status in your GI, the good bugs in your GI, and how that can impact fertility and uterine receptivity and all kinds of things. And so we do not want to bother our GI tracts at all, and sugar alcohols can be really hard on the GI tracts. As far as stevia goes, I'm very happy if people want to use stevia. We use it in our protein, even has some stevia in it. I think stevia is a really good sugar alternative, and if you're needing something sweet, there's other ways around it. So sometimes we use dates, sometimes we use a little bit of maple syrup, but it just depends on sort of what your issues are. If your BMI or your body mass index is high, we know that being overweight is really not helpful for trying to get pregnant, and that for every pound you lose, your chances of getting pregnant really go up. So weight loss is something we work on a lot with people. And so if you're trying to lose weight, then we want to make sure that your blood sugar is extremely well regulated. But we don't go all the way into the keto diet because we like carbohydrates for ovulation and some other things. And I think that you tell me what.
Look at it, totally worked. The last ingredient that I didn't show was olive oil. Olives is another one of our fertility superfoods. We love recipes with olives and olive oil on our salads and our dressings. Making homemade dressings is super important to us. We've got some that we love in the blog, and more in either the detox or the diet course. We get to you about making salads and salad dressings. So this had also olive oil in it. So this was zucchini, cumin, tahini, and it is literally the easiest thing to pull together, and it's the most delicious hummus. You'll win awards when you get to go back to dinner parties and bring things.
And you know what's interesting, I think, about the cumin in there is that like raw zucchini is not something I really can eat. It kind of gives me a stomach ache, but I think it's because of the cumin and the lemon and maybe the olive oil. It's very easy. That's easy on digestion. It's not like, I would never pick up sort of zucchini and eat it. It just would never be a good thing for my stomach.
No, but it's a really great way to eat raw food. So we want people to be eating raw foods. We also do cooked foods. We want a balance of kind of raw and cooked vegetables. So that's what I love about this, because it keeps a full raw salad. But like you said, it's easy to digest. Okay, we've kept these lovelies on for about 36 minutes. We do not need to go on and on anymore. But we would love to answer any questions if you have them now. If you have questions that come up later, you can always catch us on our Facebook group, where we answer questions that come through on the Facebook groups. We do Fridays, Fertility Fridays, on Facebook Lives, which is 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We would love to have you here. And we're typically doing webinars at this time, 5 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Pacific time. If you have topics that you're interested in or you want to know more about, please let us know. We would love to teach you. And if you haven't seen our free Fertility 101 course, start with that. We teach you a lot about our opinions about caffeine and alcohol and exercise and sugar. And that's kind of a great way to start. But if you are interested in how you can daily affect your ovulation, your egg health, and really make a big difference, jump into the detox or the diet course. You'll learn so much about cooking and eating and ways to take care of your body. We are super grateful you came, and I'm super psyched. It helped me make dinner. And
thanks.
Love spending time with y'all.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.